Come on in here, T-Subbers. Come on in here. Come on in. Let's talk about it. Let me see. Come on in. Come on in. Hey, Willie Spencer. Let me see. Which one? Come on in. Come on in. Let's go, her. Put some lotion on these hands. Ooh, baby. I tried to end on a good note earlier today. Let's see if we can do that again this evening. Oh my goodness. Hey, baby, Willie. Hey, Willie Spencer. So, baby, listen. Are they finished with? Baby, that Jane Doe, that D Joy, she's something else, ain't she? I think they finished with her this evening. Baby. What they gonna bring in? She done told some of the secrets. She released some of that Pandora's box, right? And didn't she say she was on it? Well, so who invited her to the private party? Huh? Did they bring up Jay-Z's name? And why are they covering up? For the record, why is it a cover-up? Now that little guy that's a lawyer type, you know, who is one of Tisa's, I don't want to say friends, but let's just say friends. But I think he's normally a defense attorney. I have to remember, you know, in my psychic, when I'm off my rockers, you know, and I'm like, why do y'all say that? Why do y'all leave this out? And why do y'all, you know, always lean over her instead of just y'all say y'all biased? Y'all ain't biased, just like I ain't biased. If you are a defense attorney, I guess that's how your mind thinks. So you come up with every reason. Well, we gonna listen to him. Although I don't agree with him at the front part, because he's missing so much. And Tisa broke him down yesterday. So why you playing dumb? So I guess you playing dumb with your subscribers, since you are primarily a defense attorney. So they expect you to gear, you know, in Diddy's favor. Child, I can't overlook facts. And I'm not going to take some out and add none in to make it seem like how I think is better, period. How I think is how I think. Anyway, but we're going to listen to him because he expressed some major concerns about why they are redacting these rappers' names. But when they was trying to cross-examine, trying to this rapper, this well-known culture icon for culture icon, they said real good friends, because the guy was thinking he was talking about Jay-Z. Okay? But then when they was cross-examining her, they said, isn't he a real good friend of Jay-Z? I said, oh, child, please. So it ain't Jay-Z. So it got to be Ye. Like I was preaching earlier today. Please let Ye come save the day. Because I done sunk my own ship. We gon' hear that too. I was listening to old girl, and you know, Tisa done came and told her tales. That Tisa ain't playing no games with you, Diddy. I'm gonna tell you that now. She ain't playing no games with that ass. Woo! Yeah, it's getting close. So when we listen, y'all, I'm gonna tell you what I want y'all to hear. Cause that's why I titled it. I don't know what I thought I was gonna title it, but it just sounds so familiar. All of this sounds very familiar. So it rings truth also to can't nobody be in two places at one time. And that assistant done already said that Diddy will set up hotel nights, hotel fun, freak offs, and you know, S3X capades, you know, for his rap friends, right? And he will put those in his name. So baby, this enterprise is something else, ain't it? Is Diddy marketing these triple escapades? You know, you go through him, you pay him, you have since you have a love contract, are you sending people over to these private parties? And when they need another one or need somebody, you got somebody at the parties to bring in more triple X workers. Why am I getting that feeling? That's what that texture is. Let me tell you what else the texture brings to me. I'm a texture person. You know, how things feel. You know what I'm saying? Didn't Cassie have to have a session, a triple escapade for her birthday? She thought she thought that she was just gonna have some birthday fun, and it wound up being 2 or 3 on 1, right? Didn't Cassie have something that she thought was gonna be a birthday celebration, and it turned out to be a triple X party, right? Didn't that happen to Jane Doe as well? She thought she was finna have a party. Can we go here? Can we go there? You know. And then he started inviting folk. You know, she thought it was gonna be fun in the sun with her boyfriend. This was early on. This was before the contract. See, I'm getting a feel about this contract. See, because before the contract, she wasn't getting the rent paid. I need for the prosecutors to come on with it. I need for these timelines when they are discussing it in this cross-examination to line up, man. Hey, Kane Life. Who is Jeanette Jackson? But I'll take that. Thank you, Alex HH. You feeling me, Willie Spencer? Yeah, y'all feeling me? High five to Kane Life. Hey, thank you for the gifts. High five. But you feel me? That's a pattern, ain't it? So, when we hear about this private party for another rapper, right? Right? Celebrating his wife's birthday. Here we go again. So is this a tradition or is this a ritual? Baby, if this shit don't sound like a cult. So then I'm saying, well, who invited you? Who invited you to Ye's private party for his wife? You got on the plane, right? You flew to wherever this party was. Vegas, I don't remember. Who invited you? And why did they invite you? And why was, oh, girl, take this out your good ear so you can hear. Y'all know this my good ear. I'm finna say something crazy when I start poking with this ear, right? Because I heard something with my good ear. Baby, I said, now who invited you? Because later on down the line, he acts a fool when he find out that you got an invite. So he didn't send you to this one. Who invited you? And why? But hold that thought. Hold that thought. On the private plane. And when you get there, you see Anton. So do they go through the same book of cowboys and Indians or cowboys? I ain't gonna say angels, because I just, that's some tricky dicky shit. Why would you call them cowboys? Call them cowboys and Indians. Hell, because it's the men who be calling y'all for these days. I can't say that. Sip. I'm on one today. Yeah, Laquita came out earlier, so y'all know I'm on one. Okay? And my good ear out. And I'm trying to process this, baby, because he going down. I don't care what nobody say. And again, she didn't start doing what she was doing until she signed that contract in 2023. Because before, she thought they was just secret lovers. Yeah, that's what we are. She thought that, they was just lovers and he had other women. Poly. Baby, when they start, I ain't sharing shit. And if it's good, I want it all. Okay? To myself. What? Share for what? I ain't sharing. Hey, Cynthia. Nope. When they start this shit. But anyway, let me move on for sip. I ain't sharing shit. So listen, don't come to me thinking I'm gonna share and be okay with sharing. No. No. I'm not giving you my best of nothing for you to know. If they can't totally please you, I'm sorry. I can handle mine. Oh, Lord, y'all, there go Laquita. But anyway, so on this plane, and you get to this party, and you see Antoine, somebody that, the guy that you claim that you in love with has used before. So they gossiping. These can I say freakazoid? Yeah, these Zoids, they gossip like females. Did you see the size of that weenie? God damn, He came highly recommended from Diddy. Cause hell, how did Kanye, how did Ye know? Oh, he saw it too. He, oh, okay. His fans on. Okay. Cause you know he just recently came out and said he sucked his little cousin down a long time ago, right? That ain't the song's supposed to be "Let Me Rub You Down." Yeah, he said it. I didn't say it. Don't get mad at me. He confessed. I don't know why he felt the need to confess that now, while his homie, right, going through what he going through, right, baby. When I tell you the real triple X office is coming soon, yeah, to a court near you, you can believe that. And some of these folk names that y'all don't want to hear is gonna pop up. And Ira trying to get out before it get full in New York. New York City. In New York City. Ira saying, let me get out. Ira really trying to tell on the cool. He probably trying to make some deals, because when I heard what he was saying, that didn't make no sense to me. You don't get a get out of jail free card because somebody in jail, errand boys trying to, do something to you. What did you do? Did you not pay your debt? I mean, come on now. Did you do something? Was you supposed to sing and dance and bend over and you didn't? What? Why they really want you? Ira, you got tired of saying, you got tired. Okay. I don't know. But I don't know nobody who would get a get out of jail free card cause somebody saying, I'm going to get that ass. Cause that happens every day. And folk, again, I'm going to say to you, if you don't want to go to jail and have to fight all day for yours, don't do the crime. You need to do some research first. Research the crime. Okay? Research the crime. Can I lie, manipulate, and trick these people? Trick them. Because, baby, they don't put a whole name to that. Okay? That's all I'm saying. So let's get on back over to Ye in this party. Yeah, and she runs into Anton. Somebody that her and Diddy uses all the time, and she's quite fond of. Cheers, I guess that woman said, hell, if I can't beat them, then might as well damn join them. Why I got this contract to perform. Yeah, and it sounds like you're a madam. Okay. AunTeaFee, you gonna call? Yes, indeed, I'm gonna call it what it is. She was tricked in the beginning. But she signed up for a job to have what they call it, a compound, live in the compound. I said, if that don't sound like that nature boy culty shit, that what was the name, Jim Jones and the Triangle, what is it, that tragedy when they was sipping the Kool-Aid? It's Diddy stirring up Kool-Aid. I ain't right him. I ain't right him. Is he stirring some Kool-Aid for them? But anyway, so Antoine, she gets over there and she see Antoine. Hey, what you doing here? He working. What you doing here? What you doing here? It's somebody's birthday. You know how we do at the birthday parties. You know how these Zoids are about celebrating y'all birthday. Yeah. So Kanye got the same damn fetish. But again, he just came out the closet this month, end of last month, about what he molested his little cousin. And he put it in the song. Where they do that at? Biggie did it. Didn't Biggie put that his homeboy got a fetish with kids and he play with him from behind and then throw him off the bridge? Ain't that? I said, and y'all say he the best. Y'all say Biggie was the best, and he talking like this in these songs. But anyway, let's stay on over here. Yay. Cool, a baby, all wine and everything else. So then I'm saying, okay, so it's a birthday thing. So this is some type of seance type shit. Cause remember, he said only person that's been having his back this whole time is Ye. Right? And Ye said, you taught me everything. Man, I love you for life. I love you for life. Because you taught me how to pick these ones that got some issues already going on in their life and would do anything and everything too. So we don't have to fake the funk. We don't have to do this, that we can get off. Get off. Get off. Get off. I'm missing the song. Get off. Get off. Get off. Get off. Yeah. Get out by her knees. Don't forget about them cornflakes. What cornflakes, Willie Spencer? Cornflakes. I'm gonna have to ponder cornflakes. Cornflakes. Yeah. So anyway, I narrowed it down and said, So she became him. And the boy wrestling. Oh, I thought it was Cheerios. It was cornflakes. Yeah, that they was tussling over when he was a kid. Usher. I got a problem with Usher, mama. Y'all already know that. I got a problem with his mama. Yeah, he thought they was tussling over cornflakes, but Gene Deal say. He put him in the hospital, y'all. Can you imagine a 13-year-old boy? How do you explain that to the doctors? How do you, they had a special doctors. But still, don't tell me the doctors is involved. Baby, what I believe before this is over, shortly after it's over, see, this is why that boy, Rodney, whatever his name is, who was promised that Grammy, and he was trafficked to, allegedly, Goodings. Yeah, show me the money. Show me the money. And Jerry McGuire, show me the money. Yeah, that's coming up later. And that's when these other names gonna come up. Cause we got a problem, y'all. How you tell the parents? How does the parent feel? How do you beat your own ass? How you beat your own ass? Yeah, come on, let's listen to her. And then I'm gonna get on over to the guy. Then you know where else I'm going. I got some things lined up. Yeah, because they have a problem. And I believe that she thought she opened Pandora's box when she was trying to please him. But I think on the cool, you dropping folks' names, you're opening up a whole nother Pandora's box for the feds to come back. As Boosie said, y'all don't see what's happening. They gonna get us on the back end. I am beginning to see the back end, y'all. Because they finna be through next week. And folk can say they don't have enough. Child, please. They got out of her what they needed to seal the deal with the XXX. Yeah, because she's a worker. She became a real worker. She went from being coerced to a worker. in that contract. Before she thought that she was going to win him over. She really thought that her nookie was that good. And then he messed her head up and said that his best love affair here was Cassie. Yeah, you worried about young Miami. You should have been still worried about, oh, she was gone, so you didn't think your threat was over. But hell, his heart, what he said, I don't believe it, but what he said to you was Cassie. He always dangle something over y'all head to make y'all want to try to prove it and be better than the other. All he had to do is say one of them other chicks get good head, and then there you gonna go, your head just a bopping and backwards and forwards and all upside down. You eating out. Let me play the recorder, Lord.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now.
I almost told y'all, I had a guy who lied on me before. A guy I used to work with a long time ago. I sure hope ain't none of y'all in my in my bushes. That's why I don't like. Anyway, I used to work with him, and this girl used to think this guy liked me. He did. He did have a crush on me. I think really good guy. Was really a good. He was an older cat. He was really a good guy, but he messed with too many women at work. But we was cool. I'm gonna leave it there. I don't have no problems with him. But he was a good guy. Now, this is what I'm saying when people say they're a good guy. Somebody needs to co-sign that. Let a female say you're a good guy. Then you really are a good guy. But if all you have to say is that you say you're a good guy, But if a female comes and say a guy is a good guy, then he's a good guy. Okay? For y'all fellas who out here who like to tote your own horn, you just in love with yourself. Okay? You the best you ever had. Okay? That don't mean nothing to a woman who ain't impressed with stuff. But let me move on. So this girl who used to think he liked me, thought we had something going on. She thought we had something going on real bad. And she not the only type of female. Again, before I tell this story real quick, I have more guy friends than female friends. When I say guy friends, I mean guys I ain't never did nothing with. They can tell you I am probably the only female friend who did not cross that line. Now, I ain't saying they ain't try, but I'm like, we friends, right? Nah, you know. But anyway, she was insisting that we had something going on. So he lied and told her I take it in an area that even if we did have something going on, I probably would not have taken it. Can y'all read between the lines? He told this girl who liked him like he liked me. So she used to bring up me all the time. Okay? Insisting that we had something going on, you know. He'd bring me something for lunch or whatever he was doing, you know, whatever. But anyway, so he lied and told her that I was doing these things. And guess what she did? Thinking she was one-upping me. Guess what she did, y'all? She did what he told her I did. So that she would do it. And she did. Dumbass. Let's listen.
Yes, look at you.
At this point, I'm scared I'm going to lose count, but we are officially at day number 22 of the Sean P. Diddy Combs trial. But let's first recap day number 21. Now, the courtroom picked back up with Jane on the stand, getting grilled by Diddy's defense attorney, Tina Garagos. Now, a key point of contention, well, there were messages that Jane sent that seemed affectionate towards Combs, including lines like, "I wanted diamonds," and "You're the reason for my child's joy." Garagos used these texts to challenge Jane's claims, suggesting she wasn't clear about whether her discomfort stemmed solely from Diddy or also included other men. But Jane stood firm. She was talking about Combs. Now, we also got insight on their complicated relationship. Jane admitted she cared deeply for Combs, even crying on the stand when reading old messages aloud. Now, she said she was unable to say no to him, and the hotel nights, as she called them, made him feel at peace. At one point, she testified she felt resentment because of how much she loved him and how he used that love to manipulate her. Jane testified that after a particularly dark time, including a non-DRUG-fueled sobriety party, she tried to break up with Diddy, yet she still ended up staying over at his home, with video evidence showing them laughing and embracing shortly after.
Y'all hit the like button.
Which is Nuvia from other implant centers or other dental practices.
Come on, hit the like button.
Video evidence showing them laughing and embracing shortly after. Diddy's behavior was also under the spotlight outside of the testimony. He was seen in court holding up a self-help book called The Magic of Believing, which he's reportedly reading along with other books since his September arrest. Meanwhile, in the gallery, Diddy's mom, sister, and sons are present, and the jury followed the proceeding closely, although the prosecution is trying to get rid of juror number 6. As for the trial timeline, prosecutors are expecting more witnesses to testify after Jane, and they expect to rest their case sometime next week between Wednesday or Friday at the latest. So we're going to get into trial day number 22, but before we do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this case and so much more. Now let's get back into it. So to start the day off, before the jury is brought in, the judge says the messages at issue that the defense wants to get in, can't you redact them? Combs' Garagos says, we shouldn't have to. It's consistent with our theory. They open. Judge says they didn't open the door. Comey said on direct, we elicited testimony about the end of the relationship in 2024. There were no texts but oral communication. This self-serving voice note by the defendant should not come in. By December 2023, he was trying to make a record for litigation. So defense attorney Tina Garagos sought to play for the jury an audio message from Sean P. Diddy Combs that he sent to Jane. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey argued that by December 2023, after Cassie Ventura's lawsuit became public, Combs was aware of the record he was creating in the communications with Jane and may have been crafting a self-serving false narrative in the recording. Judge Arun Subramanian ruled that the recording cannot be admitted, but Garagos may ask Jane what Combs told her about his awareness of her feelings regarding hotel nights in December 2023. The judge says, let's have a brief discussion in the robing room with Jane and Jane's counsel. Tina Garagos says, can I come too? Of course, says judge. Now the question is about the hit list of publications Jane's counsel said she would submit, but it's not currently in the docket. Counsel, including Jane, are still in the robing room with the judge. Now Sean Combs has been taken by the marshals back to his holding cell. We continue to wait. So counsel are all back from the robing room. Now Agnifilo, Shapiro, and Steele huddle around Combs, talking to him. At 10:08, Xavier Donaldson goes in the huddle to the back table to talk with Combs. Meanwhile, Agnifilo is in the front talking with Comey. Jane is still not on the witness stand. Now, defense attorney Nicole Westmoreland is also with Combs. He is now surrounded by 5 or 6 of his attorneys. He is talking with gestures using his hands. Now, at 9:29, Combs is speaking one-on-one with Westmoreland as Driscoll and Xavier Donaldson stand between the tables. This all began before 10 o'clock a.m., more than half an hour now. At 10:40, judge says, Ms. Garagos, are you ready to proceed? Agnifilo says he had this discussion in the back. Mr. Combs was not present. I would like to lodge this objection. We litigated this over pseudonyms. Judge said, let's take a step back. Judge continues, I can clear this courtroom if need be. No need, says Ignifilo. I will conform my comments in an open court. A reason trials and names are public is so people who are there can come forward. We objected to a pseudonym with Mia, now this. Ignifilo continues, the events in the hotel room on January 24th, 2024, I appreciate the balancing, but we maintain the constitutional right to a fully public trial remains. We didn't consent to these events, should be not fully public. Then he continues, part of the public nature of the trial is for the information to reach the public so other witnesses can come forward. I wanted my client to hear this. Ms. Comey, says the judge, as long as your answer remains no, we're fine. Comey continues, their argument to say the name is an attempt to harass. The judge says, in this event in the hotel is not one of the alleged acts of SEX trafficking. It's just collateral. It's not a real concern. Comey continues, the identity of those there is not a defense. And finally, all rise. Jurors, I apologize for how long this took. We did things to save you time. Jane, you are still under oath. Proceed, Ms. Garagos. Garagos says, good morning. Let's look at your messages where you said, I feel as your lover, I wanted to please you. Push through. What you really wanted was to cuddle with Mr. Combs? Yes, our intimate time. Tell me about the mobile TV you got him. It was an LG cordless. You could move it around and see movies on it? Yes. After Cassie's lawsuit went public, how were things? I came to find out another woman had already had the same experiences I had. I put out that energy on him and he was already down. So resentment, everything was hard. A hard month? Yes. Let's play the voice note. The voice note of Combs is playing. I don't want to be in a relationship like this. I don't want to make anyone feel like this. Let's end this cycle so you don't feel like I wasted your life. Did Sean say to you, I'm a solutions person. I just want solutions. Yes. You wrote, I tolerated, I took on a lot of those rooms. Please don't discredit me. And he wrote, never discredit you. Yes. Sean's message continues. What do you want me to do to make you feel better? How can we get to a solution so we can move on? I don't want to make nobody feel like this. Are there more messages like this? Yes. Jane said that this time was difficult for the both of them. We were both equally pulled in our own emotional battlefields like every which way. She said she had hit a bit of a wall in the relationship and there was a lot for her to wrap her head around, and she was expressing her feelings to him while he was simultaneously under fire for a lot of other things. Jane confirmed that around this time, Combs told her that he was not aware of how she had been feeling. She testified that he said that he was sorry that she felt that way and did not want her to feel like that anymore. At the time, you believed him, right? Yes, I did. From that period on, Jane said Combs started encouraging her to be more communicative to him. You wrote that you wanted $100,000 for each wasted year and more, $450,000. You wrote this, right? Yes. And you said you were thinking of hurting yourself, and he said don't. He cared. I don't know about that. You said you didn't have friends at the time. Objection, says Comey. I can rephrase, says Garagos. You said you talked about your feelings with Sean because you didn't have other people. Okay. Still Sean paid your rent? Yes. And the $9,000 from Barrett, you had known him from your modeling days? Yes. Did you have to do any work for the $9,000? No. The rapper you mentioned, he was a close friend of Mr. Combs? Yes. Now, Garagos is currently revisiting the January 2024 Las Vegas trip that Jane confirmed she went on with a friend, and they flew in a rapper's private jet. She said that Combs was unaware of the trip because they were currently on a break during that time. Now, Garagos asked if the rapper was an icon in the music industry and if he was very close to Combs, and Jane agreed. She confirmed the trip was for the birthday of the rapper's girlfriend or wife. Now, Jane testified that she and Sean Combs both knew that before January 2024, the entertainer Anton, whom she and Combs hired for hotel nights, would also travel to spend time with the rapper and the rapper's significant other. Antoine had told Jane and Combs about this, she said. Now, Jane said she was a little bit surprised to see Antoine at the birthday dinner, but no one asked how they knew each other. Later that night, 7 or 8 people were in the hotel room watching Antoine have sex with the woman on the bed. The rapper, who Jane said she knew from afar, flirted with Jane in the hotel room, and he said something like he thought she was beautiful and always wanted to blank her. Jane also confirmed when asked that at some point she flashed her breasts around.
So, Diddy homie. See, this is that cultish stuff. So, you know her through Diddy, right? Or do you? Again, I'm going to say, who invited her? How did she get there? Right? Hold on, let me change my background. Who invited her? So now she there, she rode on the private jet. He knew who she was, right? So now you in her ear. Now you in her good ear. Now you talking about, ooh, you beautiful. And you know, I always wanted to get with you. But we here at your wife party, right? Right? So now you want to come up on, so you already know that she really ain't shit to Diddy, right? Cause you love you some Diddy. You said he taught you everything you needed to know about how to get these wonky females, right? Hold that thing.
The group in the hotel room. She said it was an in-the-moment thing. Okay, the questioning continues with Garagos asking, how did you bring up Cabral or want her to feel like that anymore? At the time, you believed him, right? Yes, I did. From that period on, Jane said Combs started encouraging her to be more communicative to him. You wrote that you wanted $100,000 for each wasted year and more. $450,000, you wrote this, right? Yes. And you said you were thinking of hurting yourself, and he said don't. He cared. I don't know about that. You said you didn't have friends at the time. Objection, says Comey. I can rephrase, says Garagos. You said you talked about your feelings with Sean because you didn't have other people. Okay. Still Sean paid your rent? Yes. And the $9,000 from Bear, you had known him from your modeling days? Yes. Did you have to do any work for the $9,000? No. The rapper you mentioned, he was a close friend of Mr. Combs? Yes. Now, Garagos is currently revisiting the January 2024 Las Vegas trip that Jane confirmed she went on with a friend, and they flew in a rapper's private jet. She said that Combs was unaware of the trip because they were currently on a break during that time. Now, Garagos asked if the rapper was an icon in the music industry and if he was very close to Combs, and Jane agreed. She confirmed the trip was for the birthday of the rapper's girlfriend or wife. Now, Jane testified that she and Sean Combs both knew that before January 2024, the entertainer Antoine, whom she and Combs hired for hotel nights, would also travel to spend time with the rapper and the rapper's significant other. Antoine had told Jane about this, she said. Now, Jane, I don't know about that.
Oh, she talking about
You said you didn't have friends at the time. Objection, says Comey. I can rephrase, says Garagos. You said you talked about your feelings with Sean because you didn't have other people. Okay. Still Sean paid your rent? Yes. And the $9,000 from Bear, you had known him from your modeling days? Yes. Did you have to do any work for the $9,000? No. The rapper you mentioned, he was a close friend of Mr. Combs? Yes. Now, Garagos is currently revisiting the January 2024 Las Vegas trip that Jane confirmed she went on with a friend, and they flew in a rapper's private jet. She said that Combs was unaware of the trip because they were currently on a break during that time. Now, Garagos asked if the rapper was an icon in the music industry and if he was very close to Combs, and Jane agreed. She confirmed the trip was for the birthday of the rapper's girlfriend or wife. Now, Jane testified that she and Sean Combs both knew that before January 2024, the entertainer Antoine, whom she and Combs hired for hotel nights, would also travel to spend time with the rapper and the rapper's significant other. Antoine had told Jane and Combs about this, she said. Now, Jane said she was a little bit surprised to see Antoine at the birthday dinner, but no one asked how they knew each other. Later that night, 7 or 8 people were in the hotel room watching Antoine have sex with the woman on the bed. The rapper, who Jane said she knew from afar, flirted with Jane in the hotel room, and he said something like he thought she was beautiful and always wanted to blank her. Jane also confirmed when asked that at some point she flashed her breasts around the group in the hotel room. She said it was an in-the-moment thing. Okay, the questioning continues with Garagos asking, how did you bring up Cabral or Sly? They asked if I knew anyone else in the lifestyle. I said yes. At the time, I thought Cabral as a safe and confidential person. That was for the rapper and his partner? Yes. How did they know to ask you? Maybe they just picked up the energy or heard that Sean and I were into the lifestyle. You flew to Miami around the time of your birthday? Yes. He set up a grandiose birthday for you? Yes. There were candles in the walkway? Yes. It was very romantic. His heart was beating. Okay, and your heart was beating as well? Yes. I was just about to say that. It's all painted pink and silver, all 5-course dinner. What I wanted from my lover. No ecstasy at the dinner? No, none. Afterwards, you took a pill and he took a pill and Don came over. Yes, at 1 star. You said you were willing to have SEX with Don just because of your birthday party? Yes, it was nice. Okay, this message is between you and Paul Arthur, in which you asked, do you have plans for Valentine's Day? Right. You said you wanted to see Paul as a person? Yes. You said after Cassie's lawsuit, you saw changes in Sean? Yes. You said Sean would write to you, I'm single, I'm polyamorous, and that hurt you? Yes. After the lawsuit, he went to saying, we're in a relationship, you're my girlfriend. That meant a lot to you? It did. When you saw Combs laying hands on Cassie, you felt sick? I did. That was not the man that you knew, right? Right? Garagos asked if Combs tried to get into a program to address his actions in the video, and Jane says she does recall that. Prosecutors objected when Garagos suggested that the program didn't accept him. The attorneys then went to a sidebar with the judge. Okay, and now they're back. Garagos said you remained in contact with Mr. Combs after the video. Yes. You stayed in Miami with him for a few days, then left? I did. He flew to LA in June with his children? Yes. Fair to see Mr. Combs posted about this road trip with his children on social media, right? Yes. This is a photo of how you set up the house. Some set up by you, some by Jonathan. Yes. And this is a huge bottle of Clico, right? Yes. Now, Garagos mentions that this is twice the size of a regular champagne bottle. And this is a photo on the patio, right? Yes. You were drinking champagne? Yes. Now it's 8:30 p.m. Already dark outside. Tequila shots, but no ecstasy, right? Right. Jonathan brought candles? Yes. Play the video, says Garagos. Music and voice of Combs. Championship Boston Celtics. Garagos says half an hour later you were fighting, right? Yes. You testify you called him a PEDO even though you knew she was not underage? Right. You then pushed his head into a marble counter? Yes, I did. You never had a physical altercation with him, right? I had not. You pushed him medium hard? Yes. And after you threw a candle at him? Yes. When you said you locked the door, was it a button? Yes. So he did not force a physical lock, but a button lock? Yes. What was he saying? That I'm crazy, a lot of yelling. You go in the closet? Yes. You take your working out very seriously, right? Yes. But you did not put on activewear. You'd rather put on a dress? Why? Because I could put it on easily. Now, Jane estimates that by the time the argument began, they had already consumed 2 shots of tequila and at least 2 glasses of champagne. Jane confirmed that the woman they were arguing about lived in Miami and was able to spend more time with Combs because of her proximity. She also confirmed that she and Combs had argued about this woman before. She said, I think it was just a ball of emotion that night. There was a lot of just resentment for many things. She confirmed that she called Combs a PEDO even though the woman was not underage, and she also called him disgusting and a monster. When she felt like the fight was escalated, she then went in her bedroom, locking the door. Defense attorney Tina Garagos asked Jane to confirm that Combs had not touched her at this point, but just kept saying, are you just not going to talk to me? When he kicked open the master door, she locked herself into the master bathroom. She yelled at this point that she hated him and she wanted him to leave and just to leave her alone. Jane recalled Combs saying that she was crazy and it was just a lot of yelling, and he kept saying, you're just going to act like you're not going to talk to me. She states that Combs then kicked in the bathroom door, causing her to retreat to the closet, and once inside the closet, she put on something more comfortable so she could try to escape. Garagos said, you take working out pretty seriously, right? Yes, but you did not put on activewear, but rather a dress. Why? Because I could put it on easily. After the altercation, you ran and hid behind the wall. Where was your phone? In the house. When you went back, you saw Mr. Combs? Yes, he was out on the street. This had been for hours. It had. You were angry and screaming, called him a PEDO? Yes, I called him a monster, but he didn't kick you again. He didn't. You punched him in the back of the head and he punched you. He punched me twice. Okay, Judge says time for a break. Right after he said that, Judge said, I'd like lead counsel and counsel to Jane to come to the robing room, please. Ignipolo said, I'd like to do this in the presence of Mr. Combs. Comey said,
Before I forget, now remember when you was listening with our good ear, she didn't know about everything that went on with Cassie until the tape went out. She thought that what she was doing for him, right, was just something special between them two. That's why he was like, she kept saying, can't nobody know, you know, about our little hotel visits, what we do. She didn't know, y'all. See, she had a real big shift. That's why she was doing crying for 3 days. What can I do? You know, because she had been lied to. She had been coerced. She had been manipulated into thinking that she was the only one. Because I'm the only one that love you enough to do your freaky fetish. Yeah. She was heartbroken when she found out. Yeah. Remember that. When y'all say that she just went, she been like that. No. He had lied. And then when she started, now he acting like he didn't know she felt that way. Yeah, you did, because she told you several times. And you made it seem like, you know, she had to do it, and she thinking this is our bond. She didn't know that she was just a number. Yeah. Y'all get my likes up.
This is about the issue we discussed in the robing room. We have concerns. Judge says, okay, sidebar. At 12:48, they are back from sidebar. Judge says, I'm just going to break for lunch. There is nothing to put on the record here. Okay, so now they're back, but before the arguments, before the jury comes back in, there's headphones that are being set up in the jury box, and the defense wants to play them something that's sealed at the end of their cross-examination of Jane. Combs is sitting surrounded by half a dozen of his lawyers. Okay, Judge says, I understand the government says we can break earlier tomorrow, so do we have to deal with any of the evidentiary issues now? Let's just finish Jane's testimony, bring the witness and the jury back. All rise. Garrigo says, while you fought, Mr. Combs was yelling, you're trying to get me to never see my kids again, right? Yes. You said he was dragging you by your hair, right? Yes. I was telling him to stop. You got his phone? Yes. And you called the woman in Miami? Yes. You asked her, did you go to the Grand Canyon with him? I'm asking you woman to woman. Barbara, this is Shirley. So woman to woman.
Life hack, stop buying these and start buying these. This is a sun top. It's a thin flexi sunglass lens that...
So woman to woman. Yes. And she said, you're worrying about the wrong thing. Woman to woman. Yes. I told her, girl, he beating my ass. Then Sean hung up the phone and she called back multiple times. Phone lit up. Did she call you a bitch? Yes. Did you talk about her previous relationships? Maybe. Then after you called Jonathan, you were in the shower naked, but Mr. Combs was in pants, shorts, and you called him a son of a bitch? Just a bitch. Okay, just a bitch. Then you slapped him? Yes, hard. Then he tells you to put on an outfit? Yes. And he grabs your phone. He went to the messages and he said hi to Anton in the thread. It's about the night in January where you went to Las Vegas? Yes. How far is it from your home in the gated community to the gate? A minute or two. So like half a mile? Yes, I drove and let Anton in. Jane said it was nothing at the time. She slipped into sweatpants and drove her car to let Anton into the gated community. Jane testified that she, Combs, and the entertainer made small talk before heading to the bedroom. She said Combs then gave her a look and pulled her aside into the guest bedroom. Combs demanded that Jane explain what Anton meant by mutual friend in a text message because as far as Combs knew, Jane and the entertainer did not have mutual friends. Jane then told Combs about the January Las Vegas trip with the rapper, which led to a hotel room encounter where she saw Anton have SEX with a woman. She said she did not tell Combs about the brief moment from that night or that she had given the rapper Sly, another entertainer's number. Just confirmed that Combs was outraged, saying, "How could you go to another man's freak off?" Let's continue. Champagne and tequila, but still no DRUGS? Yes. You and Sean go into the bedroom. You told him you went to Vegas? Yes. You told him you flashed your breasts? Not then. You told him you referred Carol to the other rapper? Not yet. Did Mr. Combs tell you, how could you go to another man's freak off? Yes, he yelled that. Then you said Sean told you, go out and F him. And you said no.
She did what?
No. Then he pushed a pill in your face?
She
but
did
you didn't
what?
have SEX with Anton? Not that kind of SEX. You gave Anton oral SEX?
She did what? She referred at Ye's party. He asked her about, do I need to rewind? She had Diddy thinking she was the only one. He couldn't have thought that. He had her do other guys. He knew he wasn't the only one. What do you mean, Big Pressure? He knew she was not the only one. No one had said that she was doing these hotel things before him. So he introduced her to other guys. What do you mean? He made her go through that book. She didn't know nothing about the books before him. But are we hearing that she doing referrals? Kanye and them asking her about, do you know somebody else? Cause see, at this point, she a worker. She in business. She has a contract. She's an employee, right? 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 So at this point, when she getting on the plane to the after party, you know, and they see each other and I guess know each other. They've done each other, you know, because remember, Diddy do a hotel reservations under Frank Black and White for not just him, but for his homies too. That's what his assistant said. He don't just book these hotel triple X offs just for him. He's doing for his friends too. So make no mistake about it. At this point, she done signed that contract. Yeah, she's a worker. She's a madam. Make no mistake about it. She's a madam at this point. Let's go.
How far is it from your home in a gated community to the gate? A minute or two. So like half a mile? Yes, I drove and let Anton in. Jane said it was nothing at the time. She slipped into sweatpants and drove her car to let Anton into the gated community. Jane testified that she, Combs, and the entertainer made small talk before heading to the bedroom. She said Combs then gave her a look and pulled her aside into the guest bedroom. Combs demanded that Jane explain what Anton meant by mutual friend in a text message because as far as Combs knew, Jane and the entertainer did not have mutual friends. Jane then told Combs about the January Las Vegas trip with the rapper, which led to a hotel room encounter where she saw Anton have SEX with a woman. She said she did not tell Combs about the brief moment from that night or that she had given the rapper Sly, another entertainer's number. Just confirmed that Combs was outraged, saying, "How could you go to another man's freak off?" Let's continue. Champagne and tequila, but still no DRUGS? Yes. You and Sean go into the bedroom. You told him you went to Vegas? Yes. You told him you flashed your breasts? Not then. You told him you referred Carol to the other rapper? Not yet. Did Mr. Combs tell you, how could you go to another man's freak off? Yes, he yelled that. Then you said Sean told you, go out and F him. And you said no. I said no. Then he pushed a pill in your face, but you didn't have SEX with Anton? Not that kind of SEX. You gave Anton oral SEX? Yes. Then Sean dismissed him and told Anton you'd send him money later. I did. This was the first time you didn't have an intimate moment with your partner after the entertainer left? Yes. And he said again, I can't believe you went to another man's freak off. Yes. Talking about the rapper? Yes. He just kept saying, how could you go to another rapper's freak off? Yes. After that, you called and texted each other? Yes. You went to see him and broke up? We had 8 or 9 hours of breakup conversation. You saw him traveling with another woman in Wyoming and that upset you? I was at home with a black eye. Yes. You hadn't had forced intercourse with Anton? No, it was forced oral SEX. Okay, play a video. This is not for the public to hear. The jury has on headphones and no one else can hear a thing. Gergo said I will read his response. Mr. Combs says, I'm not going to belittle myself for someone named Bear or my friend. That means the rapper, right? Yes. Mr. Combs also says, sorry I didn't take you on trips. I was tripping. The baby daddy, you and KK would have talked yourself into paranoia. You didn't get along with KK? I didn't. Put on the headphone and press play. Court staffer hands Jane headphones and they restart. Combs is leaning over listening to the same headphones as Ignipolo. Garrigo says, pause there. You bring up OnlyFans there. You've been on it for 4 to 5 months, earning well? Yes. You asked him why he couldn't balance it. Hotel nights and private travel? Right. You wrote, did the other girls just pressure you for more trips and I didn't? I just want to know where I went wrong. Mr. Combs says, that was my friend. I was okay. Where should we stop? Now press play and stop. No sound in the public gallery. You said we broke up and I went to one birthday party. Not with the rapper, but with my friend. You wrote, I don't even have anything postable. You meant to Instagram? I did. You wrote about your child's father. You said, I'm in my late 30s. I don't have time. Play more video. The last part, that's about your child's father? Yes. You wrote, I just wanted to travel with you. Yes. You sent the clown emoji and said, if I F more, I could have had more trips. Then you went to Miami and stayed at the Four Seasons. You chose that hotel, right? Yes. You took DRUGS and laughed and danced. Yes. You were finally getting the princess treatment you wanted. Yes. Then you told Mr. Combs that you really missed Paul. I had taken ecstasy, but I did miss Paul. Yes. You called Paul and he came in a few days. You were at 2-Star, right? Yes. And it felt good. A love fest? Yes. On June 1st of this year, you had a new memory of Mr. Combs splashing water on you, right? If I may explain, just did you tell the government that on June 1st? Yes. So let's explain the water splash and the Paul visit. So she had previously testified at one point during the Miami trip that she told Combs she was tired and wanted to go to sleep. She said he got agitated, splashed water on her, and called her a bitch, and then he apologized. Now, defense attorney Teeny Garagos asked Jane if she had first told prosecutors that story on June 1st, just a few days after she had begun her testimony. Jane agreed, and she said that it was a new memory. Now, she confirmed that at one point at the hotel, she told Combs she missed Paul, one of the men that often joined the two in the hotel nights. Jane testified that she had taken ecstasy when she said that, but she did genuinely miss Paul at the moment. She ended up calling Paul, who said he'd meet them in Miami for a few days. Jane confirmed that she had SEX with Paul a few days later at Combs' Miami home when she took a different type of DRUG. Garagos asked if Jane felt in control and if it was a great sexual experience, and Jane agreed. Jane also confirmed that she described that night to prosecutors as a love fest. Jane testified that they ended the Miami trip with a fight about another woman, but they continued talking. Why did you call yourself Kobe, Jordan, and Shaq? Why are you Kobe? Because I'm the best. And why is he Jordan? Because he's the best. And this about Pamela Anderson, Melons, Garagos Labs. What do you say? I wrote, you are definitely my Michael Jordan and I am Kobe. Detox weekend. You say, good morning, handsome. And he says, can you please find a therapist? Yes, we loved each other, but there was toxic stuff. Defense attorney Garagos asked Jane to confirm that she saw Combs one more time in Miami in August 2024 before his September 2024 arrest, and that trip ended on a positive note. She said it was okay, but she confirmed that she told the defense in a pretrial meeting that the trip ended on a positive note. No further questions. Redirect. Comey says sidebar. Judge says yes. Now, according to NBC, during a break, Combs grabbed a handful of tissues and dabbed an eye before walking out of the courtroom. It wasn't immediately clear if the defendant was
Combs
briefly
in
overcome by
tears.
courtroom drama or more natural irritant. Now, they're in the
Emotions
sidebar.
or
Judge says, jurors,
allergies.
you may have a
What?
break and avoid the
Hold
white
on.
noise. Comey says the cross
What?
argued that this witness had
What?
a motive to lie.
Diddy was crying. Let me go back and read this. Y'all, I'm finna go if y'all don't hit the like button. I'm gonna tell you that now.
Don't wear these perfumes if you don't.
Diddy
like
crying. Was
Everyone
it
has been talking about
emotions
all
or
these
allergies?
But honestly,
They said it was
Says,
hot.
yes, we loved each other, but there was toxic stuff. Defense
Hold
attorney
on.
Garagos asked Jane to confirm that she saw Combs one more time in Miami in August 2024 before his September 2024 arrest, and that trip ended on a positive note. She said
Was he
it
crying,
okay,
y'all?
but she confirmed that she told the defense in a pretrial meeting that the trip
He needed
ended
some
on a
Kleenex.
positive note. No further questions. Redirect.
Hold on.
Comey says sidebar. Judge says yes. Now, according to NBC,
Stop.
during a
2:58 p.m. Eastern time. During break, Combs in tears, emotions, or allergies. During a break, Combs grabbed a handful of tissue and dabbed his eyes before walking out of the courtroom. Oh, that was acting. What movie was that? Why you need to get a handful of Kleenex just to do one? Dabbed in eye before walking out the room. It wasn't immediately clear if the defendant was briefly overcome by the courtroom drama or a more natural irritant. All of them got what they deserve. Do anything for money. Pressure. What did he do with his money? Come on. Why you do this all the time? He had a wiener. He had a malfunctioning wiener. He had no choice. He felt. I'm sure there's somebody out there that would have wrote that little thing because of who he was. It made him feel like he was a man. He didn't have to start a whole cult. And if y'all don't know, their names is finna be ran through the system. It's just like when Cassie started her suit, the feds is finna dig all up in all their business. It's his fault.
Combs grabbed a handful of tissues and dabbed an eye before walking out of the courtroom. It wasn't immediately clear if the defendant was briefly overcome by courtroom drama or more natural irritant. Now they're in a sidebar. Judge says, jurors, you may have a comfort break and avoid the white noise. Comey says the cross argued that this witness had a motive to lie. It opens the door to that one sentence I've been asking for as a prior consistent statement. Judge says, how does this go to an event months later? Comey says, it's on their point that Jane is shading their testimony to correspond with the government's theory that she was coerced. Comey says Jane testified on the stand for days after getting immunity. She didn't try to get a payday, but they may think she is trying to shade her testimony to please the prosecutors. Driscoll from Combs' side says it's hearsay. There's a fringe theory. Judge says, Miss Comey, how long do you anticipate your redirect? Comey says half an hour. Judge says, let's take a break first. Shapiro says, Your Honor, may I? But the judge is already gone.
We sick of him.
That's just what the fuck we do.
We go on break.
We break.
Now, before Jane's last round of questions, the lawyers once again debated whether a note she wrote on her phone in late 2023 can go into evidence. In that note, she says, I felt obligated 98% of the time. She wrote in reference to her freak-offs or hotel nights with Sean Combs and other men that he wanted her to have sex with. The defense has argued that the evidence is not admissible. Maureen Comey from the prosecution's office contends that the note has extraordinary probative value and is necessary to counter the defense's suggestion that during Jane's cross-examination, she was trying to shade her testimony to please the prosecution. Okay, so they're back. Judge says, defense, in what way did Jane's lawsuit constitute the type of influence as in the Tomei case? Okay, so in that particular case that they're referencing is Tomei versus the United States, 1995, ruled that a prior consistent statement can only be used to rebut a claim of fabrication if it was made before the motive to lie arose. The Supreme Court clarified this under Federal Rule of Evidence 801 D1B to limit hearsay and ensure fairness in trials. Driscoll from Combs' side says she could still file a lawsuit. Judge says the application to admit the exhibit we have been discussing is denied. The government has not brought forward any authority on this. Jane then re-enters and the jurors file in. Comey says G101, page 6 and 7. Pull them up. Can we zoom in? What did Sean write to Paul? He wrote, I'm going to need you to persuade her. Have you seen this before? No. What did you write to Paul about Turks? I need a robot, just a mix of tired, hungry, sore. Next, to insult me about the bracelet to make me perform. It crushed me. What else did you write? In that room, I felt like a hoe. Then what? The love contract. He's so good to shower me with affection, with violated SEX exploitation in between. I could compartmentalize the bad stuff. In May of 2021, did you ask for a rubber? Yes, Sean resisted, but then gave in. But then the next time, he mocked him. Did Sean let you use a rubber? Yes. Did you ever want to have SEX with Cabral? No. Did you fake orgasms with entertainers? Yes, I was putting on a show for Sean. According to Jane, she felt overwhelmed and not human after 24 hours of a hotel night. According to Jane, she had wrote to Paul that Combs didn't make her feel like a human being. Jane also wrote, it had been 24 hours with no breaks for me, and at first I was going with the flow for the second link up, but I had warned him that I just felt overwhelmed to overperform for a moment I've never done before. Comey asked why Jane sent Combs affectionate messages about Turks if it was so disappointing. Jane testified there was a confusing cycle of Combs showering her with love and affection with all the sexual exploitation in between. When did Sean threaten to release videos of you? December 2023. I called KK. Sean's DRUG use. How did you send cues that you were tired? Make little faces, kind of sigh. How did Sean respond? Push through. One more round. How did you try to avoid setting up hotel nights? I try to navigate the night to something else. How many times did you have hotel nights on 200 Mapleton? Once. 2-star? 3 times. 1-star? 1 or 2 times. I felt it was unfair, all of the pressure. What do you mean? Those nights with other men? Then she starts to sob. I was asking, why do I have to break my boundaries and still you treat me like this? What's this text? The All-Star Fantasy Play? What did you send Sean? A photo of a red-colored feminine product that belonged to her. Can't tell you what it is because I'm not trying to get strike down. What did you write? I got childcare and said, you pick. Then everything went left. I said, I just got my period. I handled first school week. In 2023, did you become more vocal about wanting to stop the hotel nights? Yes, he started paying my rent. I had to maintain my livelihood. My partner was in charge now. By the sobriety party, how many times did he threaten your rent? Many times. Jane testified that the time of the sobriety party in October 2023, Combs had been paying her rent for several months. She said in the months before the sobriety party, Combs would often bring up her rent in the context of hotel nights and had threatened to stop paying her rent in all different types of ways. Maureen Comey revisited several text messages that Jane sent Combs the day before the sobriety party in October 2023. Some of the messages said, I don't want to be mistreated. I don't feel like performing loveless, cold sex. I'm not a peace star. I'm not an animal. I need a break. I don't want to do anything. I've hit a wall. It's been 3 years of me having to FUCK strangers. I'm tired. Sex is sacred to me, and I can't be used like this anymore. I just wanted to make you happy, but it's creating a war inside of me. I need a break. I can't be in another hotel room doing DRUGS and performing exhausting SEX for days. The time after you threw up, what did Sean do? He told me to go back out there and have SEX with another man. Was Sean affectionate with you when Anton was in the room? No, Sean was evil. What did Sean say when he gave you the ecstasy pill? He said, you're not going to ruin my night. Go SUCK some DICK. Go FUCK him. How long before that had he put you?
Birthday party.
She should have known there wasn't no boyfriend.
Birthday princess party. Birthday princessasaurus party. Get everything for every party on Amazon.
Sweet Sleep magnesium butter is our best-selling product for children. I actually created it for my
Where was
little
her
boy.
son when all this was going down?
Go SUCK some DICK. Go FUCK him. How long before that had he put you in a CHOKE hold? Garrigo says, objection. Sustained. Did he CHOKE you with his hands or his arms? Arm. Comey asked Jane about her injuries from the altercation. Jane recounted that she had a black eye forming, a bruise on her leg, and 3 welts on her head. How do you compare your strength to Sean? Comey asked. I don't. And in the shower, how hard did he hit you? So hard. Then what did he say? He said, get in the effing outfit. When you hid for those 2 hours, could Sean have left safely? Yes. Did you want to have SEX with Anton that night? No. Who made you? Sean. Would you give all the money back for no SEX with other men? Yes. Why are you here? I got subpoenaed and I'm here. No further questions.
She didn't want to be there.
Recross.
She would give all the money back.
Did you drive to pick up Anton? Yes. Could you have left? Yes. The only time that nothing sexual happened between you and Anton was January 2024, right? Right. Anton drove his car into your compound? Yes. And you let him in? Yes, as requested. You lift heavy weights? Yes, but a woman's power does not override a man's. Did you hit Sean's head against the counter? Yes. And you'd seen the Intercontinental video? Yes. Did you refer Cabral to another rapper in January 2024? Yes. You were asked if you would give up the money to not have had SEX with these men, but you wouldn't give up your home, would you? My child and I live there. It's hard. You get $5,000 a month in child support? Yes. Your child's father is a very rich man, right? Yes. Did Mr. Combs over 3 years wire you $150,000? Is that all 3 years of mine is worth? You believe you are worth more than $150,000? Does he? What's the most you've made in 1 month on OnlyFans? $50,000, but it varies. You would say that you're hungry to indicate that you didn't want to have SEX, right? Yes. Did Mr. Combs ever give you food? He knew what I meant. Did he give you food?
Oh, she do good.
Yes. Did you tell Cabral the SEX with him had been great? Yes. You got Mr. Combs a mobile TV to show videos of you having SEX with entertainers, so I wouldn't have to have SEX with other men. Yes. Sometimes you just watch the videos, so no SEX with other men.
So she don't need his money?
But did you? Judge says, Jane, if you can, just answer the question. Yes. What did you see preparing for this? My truth. Did you see records of times you did not have hotel nights? Lucky me. But there were such times? Thank God. How did seeing what Sean wrote to Mr.
She
Puff
make
make you feel?
$50K a month with
How would it make you
Diddy.
feel? Please answer my question. Now that I've seen Sean's messages to Paul, probably I did have a hotel night. You're changing your testimony? No further questions. Redirect, says Judge. What violence had Sean done to you before he asked you to pick up Anton? Objection, says Garagos. Overruled. He slapped me. No further questions. Judge says, thank you, Jane. Jane leaves. Jurors, you may leave. The jurors leave. Prosecutor Slavic says, we need rulings to make Ms. Sanker's summary charts. Judge says, I have a letter from yesterday.
She didn't
Mind
need
you,
his
this
money
is not
pressure.
in the docket. What I need to do is hear from you. What do you think about everything happening with Jane?
Yeah. She didn't need Diddy money. When she left him and started doing her OnlyFans, she makes $50K a month. I- and she don't have to sleep with these people. That debunks, she a gold digger. Cause she asked him, she asked him, you know, when she thought that was her boyfriend, she asked him early on, excuse me, if she can do it fans only, and he said no.
Hey everybody, Charles here. Welcome to day 22 of Diddy's trial, and boy was it a soap opera today. The saga of Jane is over after a total of 6 days on the stand. She is done.
Hold on, no, this is not the one I wanted, cause I haven't heard this one, so I want to go to the one I've heard before he gives this.
From Kansas City to the capital city, Washburn University will surprise you.
Elon Musk.
Hold on.
Welcome to TMZ Live. Charles here.
Alex Michelson filling in for Harvey here from Fox 11 Los Angeles.
Indeed. Thanks for being here again. And the Diddy trial taking a turn now because the Jane is still on this witness stand. Jane is the ex-girlfriend testifying under that pseudonym, but she is talking about a moment where it certainly sounds like Diddy was absolutely desperate and sort of circling the wagons. This was just a couple of days after Cassie had filed her lawsuit, and we know that the very next day he reached a settlement with her for $20 million. But after that lawsuit was filed, it seems clear now from what you're about to hear that he was worried about the other women in his life and what they might be saying to law enforcement. So this was a phone call. This came up in court. This is the transcript of a conversation between Diddy and Jane 3 days after Cassie filed her lawsuit. And just listen to the tone of what he was saying. He says, talking to Jane, "Hey, I really need your friendship right now. And that's it. I can't even talk on the phone. Like, please don't send no texts or do nothing. People misread it and blank. I don't know what the blank." And he added, "My love is definitely true." You know what I'm saying? We just into some kinky blank that I thought we both, enjoy. And Jane only responds with a And the reason she's so hesitant, she's read the entire lawsuit and is definitely feeling some sort of way about this, knowing she's been in a relationship with him this whole time as well. And
see her
this
tone?
is what she eventually says to him.
This is when she found out, that she was not the only one.
Jane only responds with a And the reason she's so hesitant, she's read the entire lawsuit and is definitely feeling some sort of way about this, knowing she's been in a relationship with him this whole time as well. And this is what she eventually says to him. "I've been crying for like 3 days. I can't even sleep." Like, just reading all that, it's just so like word for word. Like, word for word is crazy to me. Like, it just feels sick in my soul, So he's concerned that she's gonna talk to talk to a lawyer, right? Or even worse, law enforcement.
The whole situation
She is just like
is a repeat of Cassie.
Like, she knew about Cassie, obviously, right? But didn't realize what had happened.
Pattern and
didn't realize the violence that was going on, that had gone on in that relationship. So for her, this was really shocking. Remember, she had been through a violent incident with him where he was chasing her, and she testified about him kicking in a door and chasing her. So for Jane, this was clearly a moment where she was going, what are we doing? And she testified they went on a break after that.
And interesting, his first instinct is basically like, don't say anything.
Right. Everyone's got to be quiet.
And so this whole time, Jane has been testifying that she kind of felt like the secret that he wanted to hide her and just have these hotel nights with her and didn't get the same treatment that these other more public girlfriends were getting. But she said today that, after the Cassie lawsuit, he started acting way more loving, way more affectionate, and that their relationship actually began to grow. So I think it's just
After
super
he was
obvious here what
exposed.
Diddy was trying to do and kind of lay the groundwork for, oh no, I'm in this healthy, committed relationship and we're good, right?
Yet they did go on a bit of a break, right? From December until her birthday in February of
Correct.
24.
And then they reconciled in February, yeah, correct.
So she is still on the stand today, Janet, and still under cross-examination. What's the latest that she's been testifying about?
So today she testified, they started with an event that happened in January of 2024. And actually this morning, the prosecutors, the defense, and Jane's attorney were in the roving room for over an hour before court even began. And they were arguing about whether or not the people involved in this January 2024 Vegas trip should be named publicly or not. And this involves Jane's previous testimony about an unnamed rapper and his partner, and that she went to Vegas with this group of people, including the rapper, and that she walked into the hotel room and one of the escorts that her Diddy had used previously was there having sex with a woman, and everyone was watching. So Jane testified about that and said that this is an icon in the music industry, someone that was close with Diddy. But yeah, there's a lot of back and forth today about whether or not those people should be named publicly.
Right, and as of this point, they've said they're not going to name them, but certainly you have her on the stand saying there's an icon in the music industry.
Do we have any guesses?
Well, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that because we don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
But Diddy's lawyers on cross-examination have really shown that at times Jane was very much into this.
Right.
And now you have her testifying today that there were other people in the music industry that either knew or picked up on this vibe. So is she damaging to the prosecution's case here? Because if she's in it willingly,
and is it coercion if she's part of it? And we talked about earlier this week that she sort of incentivized him. If you want to be back with me, I can give you more freak off, sort of thing.
I just wonder how this is all playing for the prosecution and playing, most importantly, for the jury. Joining us now to discuss this, someone who's been following the trial just as closely as we have, Teray, music journalist, and also as his Substack Culture Fries, and he is joining us right now. Teray, welcome back, man.
Thanks.
What do you make of Jane this week? She has been the star witness, had been a witness. She was called as a witness for the prosecution, but I'm wondering how the prosecutors are feeling.
Several aspects of the Jane story right now are very interesting to me. She does, or let's say Tenny Garagos, give her credit, does seem to elicit Jane numerous times saying she liked it or she accepted it or she was okay with it. There was a story about a very gracious birthday party, a very generous birthday party for her. And she said, after that, I felt like doing it for him to give him something in return. Now, she has already noted that she knew what her responsibilities were within the relationship. And as we've noted in this segment already, the government is hot on the notion that Diddy was feeding her and others messages knowing that he would be in this situation later. So the love bombing that happens after the Cassie lawsuit drops should perhaps be reconsidered as like that isn't, they didn't actually enter into a healthy relationship. He was just performing that in hopes that later it would be believed that they were in one. But she does say that we were in the lifestyle, that others may have even thought that we were in the lifestyle. And that is something the defense and perhaps the jury can cling to as saying, well, wait a minute, how can we say it's coercion when you're like, hey, we're swingers, we're in the lifestyle?
Yeah, right. And it wasn't exactly a secret that Diddy was into some maybe freaky stuff, even for the general public, that wasn't exactly a total secret.
It was one of those, things that people sort of buzzed about, but now we're hearing all the details in this case.
But the buzzing today, Charles, is who is that other rapper, right? And as far as a legal matter, it doesn't matter. But in the internet streets, we want to know who is that other rapper, who is married, who is an icon, who would have a wife, who would be willing to do this sort of stuff. I don't know. I think it's somebody who's been on your show.
I think that there are internet sleuths who are
I get what
are figuring all this out, and I'm sure you can find them online with their guesses that we are not mentioning here.
You said when Diddy is calling her and saying, "Hey, we were into some kinky," right? He's telling her what to think. So he understands. We should understand. He has a guilty conscience in that he knows he had done something wrong, and he's telling her, right? We were just walking out of the bank together. We didn't take any money, right? Right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't hear that.
Yeah. So bottom line, we it's clear that Diddy may not be the greatest person of all time, but the big question at the end of the day for the jury is, did he commit the crimes that they're alleging?
Did he sex traffic?
What do you think so far, based off of what you've seen?
I mean, Harvey and I have argued about this a little bit on this show. I see the government's case, absolutely. I see that there are employees of Diddy's who are helping him facilitate and conceal the sex trafficking of Cassie. And Jane, even if you waffle on whether or not she was sex trafficked, it just shows that there was a machine that they could feed another person into and go right back to doing the same thing. Cassie is controlled and coerced in multiple different ways, from I'm going to release the tape to your album will never come out. I control your housing. I am violent towards you. I am love bombing you. Like all these different ways of controlling her. So, it's clear to me that you cannot use your employees in your legitimate business to facilitate and conceal crimes in your other side business that you're doing.
Well, to that point, Teray, we should say that transcript that I was reading earlier, that was a recorded conversation, and the person who recorded the conversation between Diddy and Jane was Christina Coram, his chief of staff. So,
but that's
there you go. I mean, that's to your point.
That's the other thing we're talking about today, that Matthew Lead from Inner City Press, who does fantastic work, pointed out. He does not think, as a veteran court watcher, that the government has enough time to do Christina Coram. So he now does not think that Christina will be called to the stand. I don't understand that. I think they need her. I think that she could be called to the stand. I don't understand how she would not be called to the stand.
You would make time for someone who was that close.
Unless the prosecution feels like they don't want the defense to have a shot at her. But if the prosecution doesn't want her and they called her a co-conspirator, the defense has got to call her.
Right.
I mean, right? Like if you guys don't want her, she's got to be able to tell a story for you. She should be on the stand at some point, because I mean, like, this is the core to understanding whether or not this was an enterprise, a criminal enterprise or not.
Right. Yeah, and that's the RICO charge. Well, Teray, thanks for being here, man. We're going to be checking back in with you, I'm sure. Everyone can catch Teray's work on his Substack, Culture Fries. Appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Later, guys.
One other thing that's happened in court. There is a juror that may be excused from the case. There is an alternate that would go in his place, but the defense is very upset about this. The reason that he may be kicked out, reportedly, he's been sort of snickering at times during testimony, and the judge is obviously not down with that. But if he does get him out, and that should be addressed later today. He is a black male. I think he's black and Hispanic. And the defense obviously wants to keep that person on the jury because they think that he's going to, be favorable to their side.
And they may have a sense of what he's thinking based off of the fact that he's snickering.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Depending on what he's snickering, they may know.
Both sides might know where he's at.
We will see how that
Get him out.
All right, we are going to take a break.
Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out. Get him out.
prescription benefit managers.
Oh, and he got a
negotiate
free
costs,
Diddy.
you save
Oh
up to
my
50%.
God.
It's only if she's forced, and it's not just that she's forced, not that she subjectively feels forced, but in order for this to be established, people are allowed to make her feel like she has no way out of this. And give me a moment. That they may start as some type of gold-digging girlfriend, but at a certain activity or else. We've never heard about an or else.
Yes, we did. He said he was going to send the sex tape to 50 cents. This why I can't listen.
We don't need to sit there and when they were talking about at this party, and this party, which is in January, she got an invitation from a to the point here where I want to talk about the government cover-up, which was gross and disturbing, and I'm going to, because they worked so hard to cover it up, I'm going to speculate as to what it was that they were trying to cover up. When they were talking about the break that they had, which went from like sometime in late November through the end of the year and into January of 2024, she testified that at a certain point in January, she got an invitation from a rapper to go on a trip to Las Vegas. So she's like, cool, let's go. He said you can bring a couple of your friends. I'm pretty sure she took a couple of friends with her. I'm not positive about that part. But she decided, okay, I'm going to go. When she goes there, she bumps into Anton. Now, Anton is one of the performers or entertainers who she had engaged with on multiple occasions with Diddy. So she knew Anton through that. When she bumps into him at this party, and this party, which is in January of 2024, was being thrown by this rapper for his wife or girlfriend, and they kept referring to her as wife or girlfriend. Now they sort of like glom past that whole part of it, and it was only on cross-examination today that it became evident just how hard the state and the court, and even the defense seems to be going along with it, how hard everyone in this courtroom is working to make sure that we never find out who this rapper is. What they did was, they showed a video of the rapper at the party that she was at, and they said we're going to mute the sound here so that no one can hear the sound. And when she's questioning Jane, she says, "So this is a rapper, right? And he's a friend of Jay-Z, right? Yes, and he's not just a rapper. He's pretty much one of the biggest names in the industry, isn't he? Yes, he's a cultural.
He's a friend of who?
In the industry, isn't he? Yes, he's a cultural icon, isn't he? They said we're going to mute the sound here so that no one can hear the sound. And when she's questioning Jane, she says, "So this is a rapper, right? And he's a friend of Jay-Z, right? Yes, and he's not just a rapper. He's one of the biggest names in the industry, isn't he? Yes, he's a cultural icon, isn't he? Yes, and this was a party he was making for his wife/girlfriend. Yes, and then after they went from the party, they go up to this rapper's room, and she follows up to the room. And in the room, she sees Anton performing with a woman. They don't tell us which woman it is. And what's everyone in the audience doing there? Oh, they're all standing around watching this couple engaging in sex. So that's what she and this rapper and this rapper's wife/girlfriend were watching Anton perform. They never told us who the woman was that was performing. I don't know if that's our business. I have no reason to speculate as to who in particular it was. However, what I'll be clear with you about is this. They definitely didn't want us to know who the rapper was. And furthermore, she said that she ended up referring, this is what she shared with us on Cross today, that she ended up sharing the name Cabral. Now, Cabral is another entertainer performer. And she said that she told them about Cabral when they were asking her if she knew anyone else in the lifestyle being a reference to this explicit sexual activity. So now we have this rapper who's basically asking her, hey, you know any other performers who would be really good to enjoy for us to hire to bring on in here? So she offered the name Cabral. Tenny Garagos asked Jane, why'd they ask you? What made them ask you? That think that you would know someone? You know, the whole time we're hearing about how secret this is. So she said, well, maybe I seemed comfortable with what was happening there, or maybe it's possible that they know a little bit about what Diddy is into. So this is someone who's close enough with Diddy that they know what he's into, and they figure that she would be able to perform something. By the way, something else she mentioned, which the defense brought out to help take away some of the shine and veneer of refinery around Jane, is that they had her admit that she flashed the audience at one point there. Like she said, she was just having a good time, so she decided to flash the audience. And perhaps that's what led them to believe that she was very comfortable with the situation. I don't know. She hasn't testified to that causal link specifically. But the interesting thing is here, when they're talking about this, it was very obvious that there was a paramount objective that they do not possibly let the jury, anyone outside the jury, know who this rapper was. And it was so contorted. They're bending over backwards, making sure we can't even hear the guy's voice because they're worried that people in the audience will recognize his voice. So they turned off all the volume. They said, we're just going to show you a video of you and this rapper at the party and just confirm that, yeah, that this is this guy. Also that this rapper flirted with her and you know, there's other stuff.
Imagine multiple threads becoming one. A single.
With her and you know, there's other stuff. Bottom line is this. The way they were bending over so hard to protect them, my first thought was, you know, referring to him as an icon in the industry, my first thought I was speculating is that it was Jay-Z. However, that doesn't fit with the information we have. The reason it doesn't fit with the information we have is because the birthday party they were going to celebrate was for the rapper's wife and or girlfriend, and it's not clear whether they were using the term wife or girlfriend because this is a woman who takes both roles, or because they're trying to keep it that veiled that we shouldn't know whether or not this rapper is married. But I checked up as to when Beyonce's birthday is, and her birthday's in September. So even though I thought that Jay-Z would fit as far as being the potential answer to whom this may be, it doesn't work when you know that she's there for the rapper's wife girlfriend's birthday in January. And when I was having this conversation with other journalists who were all trying to speculate about this, someone pointed out that Kanye is good friends with Diddy, and that his wife/girlfriend, I'm not sure what status she has. I think that status might change back and forth. I'm not sure, but that that her birthday is January 5th. So I don't know who the rapper is. I have no idea. I'm just other than the clues that we've gotten so far. So anyone who's saying they know definitively is probably exaggerating. I would surmise. What I'm saying is this is the reason that had people in the audience here who are all speculating, and this is not a factual assertion at all. This is purely opinion and speculation based on what we have. But it's very bothersome that the state worked so hard to make sure we shouldn't know who this person is. Like, what is the point? It's supposed to be open court. And the court seems to go along with this. The court seems to be accepting of this and saying, oh yeah, it's sure for you to do this. And compelling, seemingly, the defense to make sure that they don't give any clues that would provide insight as to who this rapper is. What is the reason for this? Why is this being hidden from us? The court is supposed to be a matter of public record, and it's very, very bothersome to see that the state, and in particular this district attorney who has been accused and has revealed indications that they bend over backwards to protect celebrities and politicians and other folks like that, yet again is engaging in conduct which just makes you scratch your head as to why is it that this is information that has to be shrouded in secrecy from the public writ large. There's nothing embarrassing about what's happening here. There's nothing illegal. There's no so we're forced to speculate now, and I feel bad speculating, but I have to tell you what the talk around the courtroom is in order to give you a vibe for this trial is going. The final point I'll make here is the vibe is that the chances of getting a conviction based on
Let's get to the next one. He tried it, didn't he? Let us hear.
Total of 6 days on the stand. She is done, but she went out. I won't say she went out with a bang. That seems sensitive. But she did tell a story that caused all sorts of meetings outside of court without the jury present. Big kerfuffle over whether or not what she could tell about this story, about something that happened in Vegas. And this quote has everything to do with that Vegas meeting. How could you go to another man's freak off? Yes, that is something that Diddy said. We'll get to that other freak off in just a bit. But first, Jane's last day on the stand. So she began the day in cross-examination, and there were a lot of questions about her and Diddy and this fight that they had in June of 2024. We've told you about this. This was the one where Jane says that he chased her around the house, kicked in several doors, and then she had to run several blocks away and hide. And that when she came back to the house, he was still there, and that she ended the night, she says that he basically forced her to perform oral sex on a male escort who came over. So, speaking about that night, she said that things really got heated because Diddy saw her phone and that there was there were text messages with this guy, Anton. Anton is an entertainer, male escort that Diddy and Jane had been with in the past, and that he had seen these text messages between the two of them during January of 2024. And during January of 2024, Jane and Diddy were on a break. Just to give you the timeline to go back, Cassie files her lawsuit in November of 2023, and then after Jane reads the lawsuit, she feels like this is, her whole life that she's reading. She and Diddy go on a break. So this was the event that caused all this, a meeting between prosecutors, Diddy's attorney, and the judge in chambers. This had nothing to do, the jury did not even know this went on, and it was a very long meeting at the beginning of the day. The reason this was being discussed is because Jane has all the information about this story. We're going to tell you what happened in Las Vegas in just a moment. But she has all this information, and all we know at this point is that she has testified that she was in Vegas and there was a very famous rapper who she had traveled to Vegas with. Now, the defense really, really wants the name of this rapper to come out in court. And the prosecutors are saying, no, there's no reason for this, Your Honor. There's no reason to put this person's name out there. It's not relevant to this case. But Mark Agnifilo is arguing very strongly that this should come out because during this event, which we'll get to, I know I keep teasing, sorry. But during this event, he says there were 7 or 8 other people in the room. They all know about this, and he says people are going to post about it on social media. The name is going to be out there, and he says that the public that all of this deserves to come out in a public trial. That it shouldn't just be talked about on social media. If it's going to be out there, it needs to be in the trial, and the jury needs to know about it. Well, government won. Prosecutors convinced the judge that there was no reason to put the name out there. So, sad part is, we can't tell you the name because it did not come out in court. But here's what happened during that January 2024 incident. Jane says that she got on a private jet. So it's the three of them traveling to Vegas on this rapper's jet. The rapper, his significant other, and Jane. And when they get to Vegas, they bump into Anton. Anton is at the party that is going on. And Anton is, of course, one of the male escorts that has been with Jane and Diddy in the past. They are in Vegas and they go into, at some point they're in a hotel room. And as Jane describes it, there are 7 or 8 people standing around watching Anton have sex with a woman, not the rapper's significant other and not Jane. So they're all partying, watching this happen in this hotel room. Jane says that she's talking to this rapper, and the rapper tells her at some point that he would really like to have sex with her, not in those words, and that she at some point flashes everybody in the room just because, I don't know, just because you're in Vegas. She was having a good time.
So the party was in Vegas, okay.
Why was the defense fighting so hard for this to come out?
Rain make it, rain girl make it.
You again. So hard for this to come out. I think, and we don't know for sure, that the defense wanted the name to come out because if this person is as famous as Jane is making it out to be, that becomes a big spectacle. It also perhaps makes Jane look like it discredits her because maybe to the jury it looks like, oh, she wasn't with Diddy for a while and then she decided to glom on to this other famous rapper, so maybe it makes her look like a gold digger. Anyway, she didn't get to say the name, so it's not an issue for the jury. But still, the jury does know it's a famous rapper, so they may have accomplished that anyway. So now, that story is out about the Vegas incident. All right, so now cut to June 2024, the night that they had this knockdown, drag-out brawl where he's kicking in doors and everything. After the physical violence ends, Jane says that they are laying on a bed and Diddy is saying to her, you are going to have sex tonight with Anton. Give me your phone. He says he's going to text Anton from Jane's phone. And as he's going through her phone to get to Anton's text, he sees some old text between Jane and Anton where there's a reference to a mutual friend, and Diddy demands to know who that mutual friend is. And that's when Jane reveals what happened in Vegas to Diddy. And that's what, once she tells that whole story, he looks at her and says, how could you go to another man's freak off? Kind of like he's saying, this was our thing, right? You were only supposed to do freak offs with me. Now you've gone to another man's freak off, though I don't know if it's fair to say that that incident in Vegas was a freak off because as Jane testified, we have no idea if the rapper ever actually got involved with any of the sex that was going on there, or if the rapper even had sex with Jane. She did not testify to that. And then Diddy gets very upset, and his response to this is, you have to have sex with Anton tonight. And she said, I didn't want to. And then he got close to her, and we've already told you about this, when he said to her, is this coercion? She says she took the ecstasy pill and ends up performing oral sex on Anton. So this whole, and then he got close to her, and we've already told you about this, when he said to her, is this coercion? She says she took the ecstasy pill and ends up performing oral sex on Anton. So, and then he got close to her, and we've already told you about this, when he said to her, any of the sex that was going on there, or if the rapper even had sex with Jane. She did not testify to that. And then Diddy gets very upset, and his response to this is, you have to have sex with Anton tonight. And she said, I didn't want to. And then he got close to her, and we've already told you about this, when he said to her, is this coercion? She says she ever actually got involved with any of the sex that was going on. He looks at her and says, how could you go to another man's freak off? Kind of like he's saying, this was our thing, right? You were only supposed to do freak offs with me. Now you've gone to another man's freak off.
Hey,
though I don't know
Joanne.
if it's fair to say that that incident in Vegas was a freak off, because as Jane testified, we have no idea if the rapper ever actually got involved with any of the sex that was going on there, or if the rapper even had sex with Jane. She did not testify to that. And then Diddy gets very upset, and his response to this is, you have to have sex with Anton tonight. And she said, I didn't want to.
That's her punishment.
And he got close to her, and we've already told you about this, when he said to her, is this coercion? She said she took the ecstasy pill and ends up performing oral sex on Anton. So this whole thing about who the rapper is and what Jane was doing in Vegas and Diddy's reaction to it, this is good for the defense, right? Because no matter how you paint this, the jury, even though they don't know the name, the jury is going to think, well, here she is just off, having another sex party with someone else. This is just what she does. She's into it. Even when Diddy's not around, she's into this sort of thing. So she
didn't have sex with somebody.
Into this lifestyle.
He didn't.
That's the way it's certainly going to come across.
Oh.
Now, if you stop right there,
she didn't. He just said that he did not.
The defense wins today, right? Because they were successful in discrediting.
See how he's being prejudiced? I just want to see, cause he just said that it wasn't said that she had a freak off with the rapper. So how is he using that? No. He said it wasn't said.
Jane and Anton, where there's a reference to a mutual friend, and Diddy demands to know who that mutual friend is, and that's when Jane reveals what happened in Vegas to Diddy. And that's what, once she tells that whole story, he looks at her and says, how could you go to another man's freak off? Kind of like he's saying, this was our thing, right? You were only supposed to do
But he
freak
said
offs
that
with
she
me.
didn't,
Now
it
you've
wasn't
gone to
confirmed that she
another
did
man's freak
something
off, though I don't know if it's fair
with
to
the
say
rapper.
that incident in Vegas was a freak off, because as Jane testified, we have no idea if the rapper ever actually got involved with any of the sex
Okay,
that was going on there, or if the rapper even had sex with Jane.
So how
She
can
did
you
not
know?
testify to that?
Okay, so right there. So how is she just the SLUTTY word pressure? He just said that was never confirmed. Moving right along. You can't introduce people to that type of life.
Don't wear these perfumes if you don't like
Stop
compliments.
introducing
Everyone
people to
has been
that
talking
life.
about all of these perfumes, but honestly, they're just way out of my budget. So today we're going to be trying out these Ulta
Whose
perfumes,
eyes
which
are
are
you-
supposed to be very similar, but way more affordable. So starting
Morning was wild, and all of this was revealed, but now we have the afternoon
ACC,
transcript. Court has finally wrapped up,
BC.
and as you know, cameras are not allowed in the courtroom, so I'm going to give you all the details coming straight out of court. This video contains commentary and analysis intended for educational and documentary purposes only. All allegations are
Thank
discussed
you,
as part
Nick.
of the ongoing legal proceedings, and all subjects are presumed innocent until proven guilty. So we are back. I did the morning transcript, and now court has wrapped up for the day. So
on
we're
the
gonna get into these
on the
afternoon ones.
transcript,
And this is once again
she
coming
got
from
down
Matthew
with it.
Russell Lee over at Inner City
Ain't nobody
Press.
said that,
Now,
but
like I
okay.
said, there was this bombshell, and I did the transcript and a recap with people suspecting who this could be. The biggest name that people are saying that it is, because the timeline and receipts match up, is Kanye West and Bianca Censor.
So you just a hater. You hating on me too? Pressure, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? They say that you can see into a person's soul through their eyes. My eyes are not black. Pressure, you just a hater. You just a hater.
See, now other people are saying it could be French Montana, it could be DJ Khaled, it could also be Jay-Z and Beyonce. We don't know, and I don't know if we're ever going to find out, but could they be called in to testify during this trial? The judge shot it down earlier for their names to be named, but that still doesn't mean that they can't be subpoenaed and brought into this case. But of course, you guys know, make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell, because as soon as those receipts drop, I will be bringing that to you. But let's jump back in. We left off when they took their lunch break. Now they are back. Before arguments and before the jury comes back in, headphones are being set up in the jury box. Defense wants to play them something at the end of their cross-examination of, it's supposed to say Jane. So there'll be typos, guys, as I told you in my last transcript reading, that this isn't a full transcript. These are just notes that he can get out, so that we can have an idea of what's been said and going on in the courtroom as it's coming out. Now, there is a private company that is doing the transcripts, and they're about, they're not available yet, or they're coming out. They're about $8 a page, and we're talking about hundreds, if not thousands of pages that would need to be that you would have to buy. So I'm thinking about purchasing these, because I'm finding out that there's a lot of information we're missing, and I want all the details. I know you guys do as well, but if I do it, I will be doing the transcripts, the full transcripts of every day of court. I will be doing that on my Patreon. If you're interested in getting that, make sure you check out the link below in the description box. That's where I have the link to my Patreon. We're also doing deep dives into conspiracy theories and some more things that we want to talk about, not just related to Diddy, but all of the different things that are out there as far as conspiracies. I even did a video earlier today about the Kardashians and their link to Diddy, but there's more that I cannot talk about on YouTube because it's heavily censored. My channel is being heavily censored. So I will be dropping a deeper dive over there, and I'll probably do them live, some of these, so that we can interact, talk about it, and just get all the tea out there, and discuss all of these things that the mainstream refuses to take a look at. All right, jumping back in. All right, so they want those in. Combs is sitting and surrounded by half a dozen of his lawyers. I understand the government says we can break earlier tomorrow, so we don't have to deal with the evidentiary issues now. Let's just finish Jane's testimony. Bring the witness and jury back. All rise. So this is continuing the cross-examination of Jane Doe, who is allegedly, we don't know, I'm not doxing, is 50 Cent's baby mother, okay? There's a lot of receipts that could possibly be her, but I'm not naming her. I'm not doxing a witness. I'm just saying that is a speculation, and this is what a lot of people are saying, and a lot of people think. Anyway, so this is the defense. Court has finally wrapped up, and as you know, cameras are not allowed in the courtroom, so I'm going to give you all the details coming straight out of court. This video contains commentary and analysis intended for educational and documentary purposes only. All allegations are discussed as part of the ongoing legal proceedings, and all subjects are presumed innocent until proven guilty. So we are back. I did the morning transcript, and now court has wrapped up for the day, so we're going to get into this afternoon one, and this is once again coming from Matthew Russell Lee over at Inner City Press. Now, like I said, there was this bombshell, and I did the transcript and a recap with people suspecting who this could be. The biggest name that people are saying that it is, because the
come in speaking first, NY Nature.
It's Kanye West and Bianca.
You need to come in speaking first
now,
before you start asking questions.
French Montana.
Put our questions on the super chat.
It could also be Jay-Z.
I'd be happy to answer.
We don't know, and I don't know if we're ever going to find out, but could they be called in to testify during this trial? The judge shot it down earlier for their names to be named, but that still doesn't mean that they can't be subpoenaed and brought into this case. But of course, you guys know, make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell, because as soon as those receipts drop, I will be bringing that to you. But let's jump back in. We left off when they took their lunch break. Now they are back. Before arguments before arguments and before the jury comes back in, headphones are being set up in the jury box. Defense wants to play them something sealed at the end of their cross-examination of, it's supposed to say Jane. So there'll be typos, guys, as I told you in my last transcript reading, that this isn't a full transcript. These are just notes that he can get out, you know, so that we can have an idea of what's been.
From Kansas City to the capital city, Washburn University will surprise you. A tight-knit...
Let me start over, y'all. Welcome to National Diddy You Going to Jail Day.
Let's
you
go,
guys,
please.
what am I talking about? If you guys don't know, Jane Doe has left the stand, and when I tell you, she is completely devastated Diddy's defense.
Y'all get my likes up. I'm about to shut it down if my likes don't go up. Double tap your screen.
I don't care
or
what
hit the
you
thumbs
read
up.
on a live tweet from Twitter. I was in there. Penny Garagos got off to a slow start. She eventually landed the plane, but baby, she landed that plane in Newark.
No, those hearts on the side won't do. I need for you to double tap the screen on your phone or hit the thumbs up.
And took up all the runways. That is the best.
Or I'm about to shut it down.
Plane in Newark, and if you know what's going on with Newark traffic control, you know what I'm talking about. We thought the plane was going to
Double tap on your phone or hit the thumbs up. The hearts are cute going up the side,
actually very gross.
but that's not what I need. I need for you to hit the like button, double tap your screen, right?
Say this, right?
I hit the thumbs up. In 5 minutes, if my numbers don't go up tremendously, I'm shutting it down. Okay?
Sex trafficker.
We here?
It's always a little weird. You always make like weird arguments. You always say gross things. I get it. But one thing I do want to say
Calvin.
about Penny Garagos is they were literally asking this woman why she didn't leave her house where her child lived, where all her stuff was, and everything, because Diddy was roaming around that B like King Kong.
What has she been wrong
almost
about?
and this is the argument they seem to make. You know, remember when y'all was little and your parents would be like, y'all better not fight, and you'd be like, I'm not punching you in the face, I'm just walking like this.
I mean,
and
that type of stuff,
and
yeah.
then when they're just like, why you punching me in the
what
face?
went on in the courtroom,
I was just
she
walking
been
like
on
this. It gave me why did you stand in front of my like why did you stand in front of my knife? Are you serious? Is this the best thing you can do? That Diddy basically is King Kong and we all have to live in fear of him? Y'all, let's get into this because some of the arguments that I'm still looking for my notebook. Some of the
because a lot of them folks don't even go into the real arguments.
Making was nonsensical, and I gotta tell you, for them to be making those arguments, it really makes you think: is this the best you got? Because I'll say it once and I'll say it again. If you don't see RICO, you need to open your eyes. If you
I
don't
definitely see
sex
RICO.
trafficking by fraud, force and coercion, you need to open your eyes. One thing I will actually say is, okay, Maureen Comey bought that mess home. Maureen Comey bought that mess home. Now, when it comes to juror number 6, I know you guys are all asking, we are still trying to see what is going on with juror number 6. Just to let you know, I found out a few days ago that the person I thought was juror number 6 might not be juror number 6. They said all the jurors have a number and they have them, like they mix them up in rows, okay? So yes, there is a person that always sits in the 6th seat, but we don't know if that is juror number 6. We actually won't know who the juror is until they don't show up in the morning, or we might never know until the trial is over, okay? But when it comes to juror number 6, all right, it is not anything that rises to the level that they got to kick them out immediately. That would be if they were doing something straight up illegal. This is something that they're saying is with paperwork. It could be immigration status. It could be they lied about something on their application. The point is, it's something that means that legally they do not have a right to sit in that seat. Now, the defense is like, we don't care. It's just a little issue. But the prosecution is saying, no, get them out of here. Now, you do have to wonder, why does the prosecution want them out of there? When you combine it with the fact of Diddy was connecting and nodding to the jurors, I don't know. Now, Diddy's team made the argument that you're trying to kick all the black men, a black person. I don't know if they say a black person or a black man off the thing. So that narrows it down. The jury is about half black, half white. And when it comes to male, that narrows it down even more. However, I don't know if they say it's a black person or a black male. I actually have to go look at the transcripts, okay? The point of the matter is that's how we got it in our heads that it was black, because Diddy's lawyers keep leaking stuff when they're on the stand. I don't know if they're leaking, but they want everybody to know, okay? So where are we at with that, okay? Well, we need to talk about quite a few things, right? The judge said everybody's made their arguments, and the judge is going to decide today what actually happens with juror number 6. So if I go there on Monday, actually, if I see tomorrow and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, there's no 12. We will know what juror is off there. Again, listen, in law, you see that it is a game, and you take every advantage you can. If you are not 100% sure that a juror is feeling you and rocking with you, if you get a chance, right, to get them off, remove them. I think that if this is a juror, I think it is. I feel like they're part of the Holy Trinity. I feel like they're part of this clique. I feel like they're under, I don't know. If it was me, I'd be like, bye-bye too. What'd you say? What'd you say? What'd you say? What? You paid your cell phone bill 2 days late. Security guards, get them out of here. We can't have people in this jury that paid their cell phone bill 2 days late. I'm sorry if you read the fine print on AT&T. They said if you paid your cell phone bill 2 days late.
I want to check this out.
That's a fine actionable for criminal proceedings. So you're a criminal. Get out of there. I would take every single opportunity, because Diddy's team is taking every single opportunity they can to 100%.
Yeah, we finna do something new, but I need y'all to get my likes up,
Jay, thank you
because
so
I'm
much
gonna shut it down.
They are taking 100% every opportunity, and law.
Oh no, that's
being raised in a household with two women who, again, Hispanic and French Creole. There wasn't racism that happened to be impaired or issues we talked about in our household. And I didn't see them go out into the world. And I'm just being
saying, well, you're not space, your proximity, be a therapist to say, hey, we need.
You listen, young man.
Work out for us. And there's another battle between Harvard and the Trumpies over DEI. And a big question for us today, are biracial people being allowed to be considered black? Are they being erased? Wow. Are we being erased in general as black people?
That ain't what
We're
I
going to get
thought.
into all of that today on Truth Talks. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, look, let's get into trending truths. Our friends at Hair Maniacs are supporting us on this segment today, so we really appreciate that. In trending truths, our first story, a woman has been testifying against Diddy anonymously with devastating testimony. People have been sharing her identity online, even though a man got banned from the courtroom for live streaming and revealing a witness identity of another anonymous witness. Some people say if a celebrity is being named and shamed, the accuser should face the same public. But other people realize we need to protect victims who might otherwise stay silent. We want to talk about, should witnesses in high-profile trials be allowed to remain anonymous? Ariva, I know you know all about this issue. We certainly could not get everybody to come into a courthouse and talk and tell their story and tell the harrowing details of what happened to them, whether or not they were participants of the crime or a victim. We cannot get everybody in to deal with the actual crime we have if we don't at least give some people anonymity.
You know, Teray, when I'm not spending time with my favorite co-hosts like all of you here, I'm on TV a lot talking about legal cases and trying to help people understand our criminal justice system, our legal system. And one of the things I want to make sure folks understand, the witnesses that you are seeing, many of the witnesses that you are seeing brought into the courtroom in the Diddy trial are witnesses that are there by subpoena, meaning they have been forced to come into that courtroom by the prosecution, by the government. You could be going about your business, living your life, and you get a knock on your door and you get served with a subpoena, which means you have to show up and give testimony. If you do not, you can be held in contempt of court. You can actually be put in jail for disobeying a valid subpoena. So this isn't a civil case where someone is suing Diddy. And yes, in that case, they should be forced to give up their identity because they are bringing him into court and he should be able to face his accusers. In this case, this is the government. This is the prosecution is the government bringing criminal charges against Diddy. So these witnesses, they're not there voluntarily. And we heard the stylist who testified say he would rather be any place other than in that courtroom, but yet he was forced to be there by the government.
Dimitri, the government the court gave two witnesses anonymity. So the court did not name them, and the court sketch artist that you see in the sketch there does not fill in the face. But the media online quickly realized who these people were and named them and showed their pictures. What do you make of anonymity in a world where the internet is just going to come right behind and say, well, we know who she is?
It doesn't exist. I think the thing about it is social media, the identity of it is to be as nosy as possible. It's to say, hey, I received this information first. Let me tell you exactly who's in this courtroom, because it just doesn't. There's no exclusives for it. Even in criminal cases. There's no.
Okay, yeah, I'm about to shut it down.
Courtrooms because people are just too.
I'll come back later, but y'all got to get my lights up, baby.
The thing about it is we shame predators.
I think I'm a joke.
This is what we do intentionally. But the question is, the people who